Who did you steal this cursed black car from? Your path leads straight to the lockup. The officer bellowed, yanking the man from the vehicle, oblivious that this man was one of the most feared and respected agents of the FBI. It all began that sweltering summer afternoon. The asphalt shimmered, baking under the relentless sun. Elias Thorne, a man of color, drove his sleek, black sedan with the windows down. He wore dark sunglasses and the casual uniform of a Friday afternoon. A crisp white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, nothing conspicuous. Just then, flashing red and blue lights appeared in his rearview mirror. A short, aggressive siren blast cut through the air, a command that brooked no argument. Elias frowned, checking the mirror before pulling over to the curb. A police officer stepped out of the patrol car with a heavy, deliberate gait. His sunglasses reflected the midday glare, and a sneer of arrogance was etched on his face. He slapped the roof of Elias's car with an open palm, a loud, proprietary thud. Well, he muttered, his voice dripping with condescension. And where did a monkey like you get a car like this? Did you steal it? Elias's jaw tightened. What's the problem, officer? Is there an issue? He asked, his voice steady, ignoring the blatant insult. The officer laughed scornfully. There's a problem, all right. The problem is a person of your persuasion shouldn't be cruising around in a luxury car like this. Come on, you stole it, eh? He tilted his head, spitting the words out with venom. A cold rage began to simmer within Elias. His hand, resting on the steering wheel, was firm, but the slight tremble in his knuckles betrayed him. This car is mine, officer. If you doubt it, my papers are in the glove compartment, he said slowly, reaching to retrieve them. Hold it, you damn Negro. Don't you move, the officer shouted, his hand already on his weapon, as if Elias's guilt was a foregone conclusion. You and your kind are always quick to run, aren't you? Savages. That's what you are. All impulse, no thought. You're a blight on this country and the world. Elias slowly raised both hands, palms out, once again ignoring the officer's hateful words. The sun beat down on his brow. Each word was a fresh wound, but his training demanded he wait, observe, and strike at the opportune moment, not a second sooner. All right, let's see your documents, the officer said, his words a venomous drawl. But one false move, you damned African, and I'll drag you out of this car by your neck. Elias met the officer's gaze, a cold fire burning in his eyes. He slowly, deliberately opened the glove compartment. The officer tensed, his hand gripping his weapon holster. Elias first took out his wallet, then a gleaming ID badge, and stepped out of the car to present them. The officer snatched the badge from his fingers, his eyes narrowing. He read the words aloud with a mocking laugh. FBI Special Agent. Don't make me laugh, ape. Who did you steal this from? Now you're not just stealing cars, you're stealing identities. You're going away for a long time. As the officer spoke, Elias slightly lowered his head, allowing the sunlight to hit the photo on his badge squarely. There was no mistaking it. The smirk on the officer's face faltered for a second, then snapped back into a mask of false bravado. Elias slowly slid his sunglasses down, his gaze fixed on the officer's eyes. His voice, when he spoke, was a chilling whisper. I'm telling you again, officer, you're crossing a very dangerous line. The officer let out a dry, harsh chuckle. This doesn't scare me, he spat, holding the badge between his sweaty fingers. This proves nothing, monkey. I can print 100 of these in any back alley. An African brute like you, FBI agent, and I'm the Queen of England. All you people know how to do is run, steal, and ruin our world. Elias took a deep breath, fighting to keep his composure. The officer took another step, his shadow engulfing Elias. He shoved Elias's shoulder with force, making him stumble against the car door. Listen to me, you stupid ape, he hissed, his voice low and menacing. Even if that's a real badge, you're sleeping in the slammer tonight. And if I have to lie and say you attacked me, I will. No one's going to believe a man like you over an officer of the law. Elias's muscles tensed, his eyes remaining cold and calculating. He knew the officer had just sealed his own fate. I advise you to think carefully about what you do next, Elias said, his voice so firm it seemed to vibrate the air. "It's one thing to insult me. It's another to take one more step outside the law." The officer leaned into his face, so close Elias could smell his breath. "The law," he laughed scornfully. "I am the law, you damn monkey. And today I'm going to teach you who's in charge here." The next shove was more violent, forcing Elias to brace his hands on the scorching car roof. His eyes, fixed and sharp as knives, signaled what was to come. Elias snapped into action. He rotated quickly, ducking his shoulder to break free of the pressure. His arm moved with precise technique, blocking the officer's wrist to disarm his grip. The maneuver was clean, practiced, textbook. "I told you not to cross the line," Elias growled. The officer, caught off guard, stumbled. His hand almost slipped from his weapon, surprised that this monkey moved like a trained combatant. But his arrogance was quicker. He shifted his weight, lunged at Elias, and delivered a swift, brutal knee to his thigh. Elias's leg buckled for a second, just enough to break his defense. "Hands behind your back, you piece of garbage," the officer roared, twisting Elias violently against the car. The officer had his cuffs out, and with an aggressive move, twisted Elias's arm behind his back. The pain shot through his shoulder, and the cold metal of the handcuffs clicked shut with a sound louder than any insult. Elias was trapped, his breath ragged, his eyes blazing with contained fury. "Looks like I'm in control now, ape," the officer sneered, pressing his mouth to Elias's ear. "I told you you'd spend the night in jail, and even if I have to invent a report, no judge will believe you over me." Elias's jaw clenched, the veins on his neck standing out. The unfairness of it all was a bitter poison in his veins. The officer yanked the cuffs, forcing Elias to walk hunched over to the patrol car. "Walk, you stupid African," he spat. "Or do you want me to carry you like an animal?" Elias remained silent, his eyes burning. With each step, he mentally reviewed protocols. He knew the officer was digging his own grave. At the patrol car, the officer flung open the back door and shoved Elias with such force that he hit his shoulder against the metal frame before falling onto the hard seat. The officer slammed the door shut. A federal agent brought down like any other street ape. "Don't make me laugh." The ride to the precinct was short but suffocating. Elias Thorne sat in the sweltering back of the cruiser, cuffs biting into his wrists, while the officer whistled smugly. At the station, he shoved Elias into a cell. "New tenant. Step right in, African. This is where you belong." Elias lifted his head, his gaze sharp enough to cut. The officer sneered. "An FBI agent? Don't make me laugh. You're just another monkey. No one here will believe you." He left, but Elias's silence wasn't defeat. It was calculation. Moments later, the officer returned, grinning. "How's your cage, ape?" he mocked, rattling the keys. Elias's voice was firm, commanding, "I have the right to one phone call. Now." The officer chuckled, but a flicker of doubt crossed his face. Reluctantly, he dragged Elias to the wall phone. Elias dialed with deliberate precision. "This is Elias Thorne. I've been unlawfully detained at the West District Precinct. An officer claims my credentials are false. Record everything and act immediately." A deep voice answered, "Give me 10 minutes." Elias hung up calmly. The officer forced a laugh. "Who was that, your cousin?" But fear already crept into his voice. Minutes later, the precinct doors opened. A man in a dark suit strode in, polished shoes echoing against the tiles. Removing his sunglasses, he fixed his gaze on the racist officer. "Who is responsible for detaining Agent Elias Thorne?" The word agent hit like a thunderclap. The officer stammered, I thought he was lying." "Suspicious of what?" the lawyer thundered. "That a black man drove a car you couldn't afford?" He slammed a folder of credentials onto the desk. "Elias Thorne is a decorated FBI agent. Release him now, or every second will count against you in court." The sergeant, pale with panic, rushed to unlock the cell. The cuffs fell away. Elias stood tall, smoothing his shirt, dignity untouched. Before leaving, he turned to the disgraced officer. His words were quiet but lethal. "This isn't over. Prepare for the lawsuit. Your career and reputation will collapse." And collapse they did. Within weeks, internal affairs investigated. Witnesses confirmed the racist insults and false arrest. The verdict was merciless, dishonorable discharge. His name hit headlines as a symbol of corruption. Friends abandoned him. Respect vanished. Alone in his home, discharge letter trembling in his hands, the echo of Elias's voice tormented him. He had mocked the wrong man and paid with everything.